Great, thank you. Another week, another great opportunity. Second time in our career here at Missouri to host the number one team in the country. The first time, the first game of our career versus Alabama. Obviously, Georgia is a very good football team. They're well coached. They've got a lot of really good football players. You know, offensively, they got a quarterback that's playing as well as anybody in the country with Stetson Bennett. He's got a tremendous use of resources with the tight end room. There's a lot made about those guys being so deep with that position. They're very deep at running back, also at wide receiver. At the O-line, they're very physical up front. They're able to run the ball, attack edges, and then use play-action shots vertically down the field. Obviously, defensively, they lost a lot of guys from last year, but you wouldn't know it by the production and the way their defense plays. Obviously, Coach Smart's DNA and fingerprint is all over that defense, but they've transitioned to a new defensive coordinator with Glenn Schumann, who does a really good job. And I know he's got a co-coordinator with Coach Muschamp, and so on the defensive side of the ball, they're very good. Their front four is big and physical, does a great job of creating disruption at the line of scrimmage, getting the offensive line on different levels, and creating havoc for the defensive side of the ball. Their back end is very productive. I think Chris Smith, obviously the senior safety, combined with a true freshman, has that veteran presence and young guy. Obviously the corner position's very good. And then special teams last week, they blocked a punt. Obviously, we had that issue with us last year, and so going to have to play very well in all three phases. Going to need to have a great crowd. Going to need the best home field advantage in college football. Look forward to getting our fans out here and supporting our program and being loud and proud. Really would love for our student section to be as loud and as awesome as they were versus Louisiana Tech. What a great atmosphere that was, and a great way to put on display what the University of Missouri football program is all about. I've got a few updates from Saturday from the game. That are not good. Zeke Powell suffered a season-ending injury in that second drive of the game, and this is his last year of eligibility, so he will not be able to participate anymore for Mizzou football, and that's a tough one for us to lose. Zeke Powell was a young man who came in here from a junior college right at the start of the 2020 season. Played well his first year. Last year competed. Didn't get to play as much as he would like, but came back, did everything that we asked him to do. He's going to get his degree. Really proud of him for that and the growth and maturity that he has shown, and just hate it for him. Football's not fair sometimes, as we learned a lot Saturday. And there's, it's hard. But he's a tough young man, and we're going to be here for him. And we're chasing two dreams. And we're definitely going to make sure that life outside of the game is taken care of, and he's well taken care of for us. Chad Bailey will be questionable for Saturday. Obviously, he was not able to finish the game, was in a harness. He'll be questionable. We'll see how the week goes, and continue to work on treatment for him. Luther Burden will be questionable for Saturday, as he suffered an injury in the second series of the game that kept him out most of the second quarter. Really proud of the toughness he showed in the third and fourth quarter, trying to give it a go and doing what he could for our team. In fact, he was not supposed to do anything but fair catch the punts, but in that fourth quarter, trying to provide a spark, decided to return that one. But our priority is getting him healthy and doing the very best we can for him. So look forward to working with him all week to try to get him back. So that's the update as far as the health status of our team, and I really don't think there's anything else roster injury wise. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Eli, I know it's only 2 kicks, but have you spotted anything, whether mechanics, confidence wise, that's any different with Harrison than the last week or two?
Okay, yeah, ACU game. No, haven't spotted anything. We're looking. Obviously we've got Coach Link, who does a really good job with our kickers, and Harrison has his own kicking coach. He gets one shot at it. I've stood over many a 3-foot putt and yanked him. So I have 100% confidence in Harrison Mevis. That young man hit a game-winner 37-yard field goal versus Arkansas in 2020. He had a 54-yarder versus Boston College to tie it up and send it to overtime. He's got the career record for 50-yard field goals, and one play is never going to define any one individual. And so we've got our confidence in him. And I hate that it gets brought up so much because it means so much to this young man. And, he is disappointed. But like I told him and like I would tell the team, one play is not going to define him. And the next time he hits a game winner, I'm going to have a smile on my face knowing that we were a part of that growth that allowed him to do that.
Eli, how do you approach the mental side of that with him? Because that's big for kickers to begin with. You address it, leave it alone.
We move on. Yeah, we move on. We get back on the horse. Kickers are people too. So they're people. We're all human, right? To err is human, to forgive is divine, right? So we all had an error. And I personally don't blame any one player on our football team for Saturday's performance. I blame myself. And at the end of the day, it was my job to get us one more play to win that game. So has nothing to do with them.
Eli, the last play of the game, Nate was clearly trying to make a play, but is there a teaching point that you make that you show everybody on ball security there?
We have a point of emphasis within our program, and we actually do a presentation on it, and we will continue to do a presentation on it, that you never extend the ball at the goal line except on fourth down. It's just the risk is not worth the reward. There's multiple clips of players doing it at all levels, and I understand the urgency or the want to make a play, but you have to understand that the risk is not worth the reward. I've got to continue to make a bigger emphasis of that and continue to coach it, but that is something that we coach in our program, and it wasn't emphasized enough by me, and I've got to do a better job.
Speaking of helping a kid get past it, obviously Nate was upset. How have you talked to him in the last couple of days, and how is he handling just moving past that?
Yeah, I talked to him right after the game, and I've talked to him every day since then, and we're going to give him the ball again. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what we're going to do. There's really no more to say about it. Like, it was a mistake. We all learn from it. We all grow from it, and we move on. To err is human. I don't think there's anybody in here that doesn't have something in their past that they wish they could do different. You can't. All you can do is learn from it, and those things don't have to define you. They can help shape you and mold you to the person that you want to become. And as a football coach, my job is to win football games, but also to help young men develop into their full potential. And that's what we're going to do.
Coach, what are some of the positives you can take off of this game? You guys led in yards, third down conversion, tackles for loss, a lot of things. What can you take positively from that game, even though it's not the result you wanted?
Yeah, the number one thing I take away from that game is the fight that our team demonstrated after that second touchdown. We preached all week, start fast, and we did not. We did the exact opposite of that. But our team ran to the fight. Our defense went out there and held them to 1.8 yards rushing and never flinched. Our offense went back-to-back drives in the second quarter, scored a touchdown. Our offense laid an egg in the third quarter. Our defense never complained. They never pointed fingers. They were encouraging us the whole time. They knew we were going to put ourselves in a position. On 4th and 1, they stuffed them. Our offense went out the field. We all had confidence we were going to go down. We answered the bell. It didn't work out for us at the end of regulation. Everybody could have hung their head. No, we went out there and we stuffed them. Jump off sides. Could have hung our heads again. No. Offense went back out there and put themselves in a position to get it done. Didn't get it done. Got to learn to finish. And there's no moral victories. I'm not into moral victories, okay? But I am proud of the way that our guys fought and answered the bell. And that's something that you can build off of.
where you guys got 14 points? What
We were ahead of the chains on first down. If you look at it again, the first 4 drives of the second quarter, of the third quarter, fourth quarter, we started with negative yardage plays. Whether that was a sack on first down, a penalty on first down, a bootleg that was a sack on first down, or we had a penetration on the outside zone to the left to start the fourth quarter. So those things, when we're behind the chains, it's really a struggle for us. So we got to do a better job of staying ahead of the chains on first down.
A lot of formations, with 2 backs on the field, and also a lot of times you had 6 linemen with Armand out there. What'd you like about what you saw from those adjustments this week?
Yeah, really proud of Armand because going into the game, the 6th offensive lineman was going to be Zeke and Woody, and Armand was the backup. And after the second play of the game, or after the second series, Armand became that 6th offensive lineman, and really I thought competed very well, and the moment wasn't too big for him, and was prepared for his opportunity, and really proud of him for that. I thought we were efficient moving the ball. I thought we were able to get what we call dirty runs, which are just move the ball forward. We had a couple that could have busted out there a little bit more, but we had one penalty that was anyway. We had a penalty. But I liked the change up. I thought it gave us some more air to run the football and a different look that we hadn't shown before.
What is Dominic Lovett doing to continue to improve, and is he becoming the leader of that group?
I mean, special player, special talent. I think we all knew that. I thought we saw a preview of that in the spring football game. Have known all along that we were very fortunate to get Dominic on our football team. And really just proud of the maturity and growth that he's shown. I've said up here a lot. Last year I felt like I tried to do too much too soon with him, moved him around too much and didn't really let him develop and settle in. We got to remember that these young men are 18 years old, and the jump from high school to college is a little bit more than what people expect, and so you have to learn to rely on techniques and fundamentals. And we put him in his position that he's a great fit. I mean, he's a great fit in our offense at the slot. He's got dynamic speed, which gets in on safeties and nickels. And so I think it's allowed him, one, to grow and mature, to develop as a route runner. And, it took us a little bit with Brady and him to get on the same page, but I think that connection's pretty good right now.
And he's leading the league in receiving it.
Yeah.
Point to that as an example of, hey, this doesn't always happen overnight, right away for some guys.
I don't know what in the world you could be referring to.
Eli?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think you got to trust the process. There is a process to being great. Just because you have the ability doesn't mean it just is going to happen overnight. And so let's let people grow. Let's not put undue expectations on people. Let's let people grow. 18-year-old people still have maturing to do and growth to do and learning. And let's just celebrate what they're doing that's really good. And we'll continue to build. But with Dominic Lovett, again, I screwed that up last year. And so I learned from my mistakes.
Eli, what does that process look like getting an 18-year-old ready for the college reps, and when do you as coaches know that they're ready in the case of like Armand Bembu and Dominic Lovett?
Well, I think that just the course of development that they show and the confidence in not trying to put too much on them too soon, not trying to put them in a position where failure, anything that happens is deemed as a failure, and I think that's the biggest thing. You got to build confidence in your players, and there is a lot of pressure on people to perform, and whether it's created through social media or through whatever forms, there's a lot of pressure, and pressure is a hard thing to deal with. I thought there was a really good article about the defensive end from Alabama, working through his feelings of pressure to perform and get as many sacks as he did last year, and understanding he had to clear his head space and make sure that he was doing, not pressing. And I think you've seen it. I mean, we can talk about it throughout the course of history through sports about players who press and felt that pressure. And so we're trying to alleviate the pressure, alleviate performance anxiety. And I think the way you do that is allow people to play free and confident because they know their plays, and then they know the fundamentals and techniques that they need to do in order to execute.
Eli, what have you thought about how Jack Stonehouse has played the last few weeks here?
Yeah, so Jack got his opportunity against ACU, and I think he's a great example of somebody who embraced his role, put the team first, was very disappointed that he wasn't named the starter coming out of fall camp, but didn't hide his head, didn't hang his head, just kept working, showed up every day, didn't pout, just kept working, was absolutely gut punched and devastated because you work so hard, but you don't get that reward immediately. And sometimes in life, you just got to keep plugging away. You got to keep showing up even when you don't want to. And he did that, and he got his opportunity, and he's been really good. We got to make sure we don't outkick our coverage, and so we got to continue to work on some things. But yeah, I thought Saturday had a really good day.
Does he, I think it's his cousin who comes to the Titans. Do you know if they communicate, he helps him out?
I haven't dug into that.
Coach, with Chad not being able to play for the second half last week, what were your thoughts on the game Damian Wilson played and how much can you count on him if that can't go?
Yeah, obviously I think, to get that opportunity to play in that style of game that's going to be a physical game against those running backs, against that quarterback and the quarterback run game that they had, there were several really big plays where his fits were key, and he made some great tackles. Obviously, we got very fortunate on one of the coverage things that he had, but he's continued to grow and learn. That's a kid who's really worked hard to be in the situation that he's in, and his opportunity was called and he was answered upon. And that room is battling a little bit of injury right now. Obviously, we lost Chuck early and now Chad for a little bit. So we're going to need older veteran guys like Devin Nicholson and Will Norris and Zach Lovett to really continue to come on.
Eli, can you take us through a little bit of Mitchell Walters? Kind of, if I remember, it was preseason last year. I think he injured his leg and just kind of his path back to where he is now.
Yeah, Mitch is a young man that we recruited out of. Was already committed when I got here and recruited, and was always a guy that had great size and strength and just needs to continue to develop. It means a lot to him. I thought last season he was an absolute monster on the scout team and would give great reps every single day and worked really hard. He actually started at right guard the first scrimmage of the season this year and had shown a lot of improvement, but wasn't quite as consistent as we needed him to be, and just felt like he had earned his opportunity to get a chance to play and use his size. And so that's kind of what went into it. Really proud of him. He's got a long way to go, as we all do. But now, with Zeke's injury out and Woody sliding over to the right tackle with Armand, Mitch is going to have an opportunity to really establish himself as that guard.
His size traditionally might be a tackle. Is he a guy that can kind of play multiple places if you need him to?
We played him at tackle a little bit, but we just feel like with his size and thickness that guard is probably more his position. Without getting into his deficiencies, I think that's just something that we feel more confident about.
How do you feel like Connor played when he was moved over to right tackle after Zeke's injury?
Yeah, Connor's actually played quite a bit of tackle for us when you go back to last year and Hiron getting injured in the Georgia game and missing the next two games, which I believe were the South Carolina and Florida game. Woody played both those games at tackle and actually played tackle at his previous school. So it's a position he's familiar with, he's really comfortable with, and so, yeah.
Eli, at Georgia, Kirby always has good defenses, but just since you've been playing them, how have they evolved offensively? Now they're kind of a juggernaut on that side.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Obviously, Todd Munkins, their offensive coordinator, was a tremendous head football coach. Was an offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State first, and then a tremendous head football coach at Southern Miss. Decided to get back into the NFL and coached some really high-powered offenses in the NFL. Is a guy that I think is really knows how to use all of his resources. And I think that's really probably what makes him so difficult as a coordinator is that he's got experiences in blended offenses. He knows how to use his quarterbacks in the run game. He knows how to use the tight ends in the pass game. He knows how to use a wide or spread formations. He's got all the passes. He's got all the runs. He's got all the tight end stuff. And so he's got a really big toolbox. And then obviously he's got some really talented players. His biggest challenge is keeping everybody happy.
What can we expect from Georgia defensively, scheme-wise?
Well, hopefully y'all get to go to their press conference and ask Glenn and Kirby that. I mean, traditionally they are a three-down movement front, which means they start in odd, but will slide to a four-down front. They've added some variety in their three-down front package. There is some three safety defense, which looks a little bit similar to K-State. There's 4-2-5, which is similar to what we do, and then there's some traditional 3-4 Kirby Smart DNA style defense. And so I think when you combine a guy like Coach Schumann, who's been in a lot of really good schemes, and learn from Coach Smart, you got Coach Smart, and then you got Coach Muschamp. There's just a lot of variety of what they can do on defense combined with their really good players. Makes them a challenge.
Speaking of three safeties, there were a few plays where it looked like Dalen was kind of moving back at deep safety. I mean, what kind of versatility does that give you still to be able to do that, even though he's kind of moved to another position?
Yeah, Dalen is a very talented player who, I thought he had some really big plays, some really key tackles, had a great pass breakup there in the fourth quarter and so he provides a lot of versatility, can play safety, and I think Coach Baker's done a tremendous job with our defensive scheme of providing a lot of disguise. I think our third down package is very difficult to go against. We've been going against it for a while. But it has the ability to pressure, has the ability to drop 8, play 3 safety, and it all looks very similar.
So any update on Elijah Young and just his status for this Saturday?
Elijah was hurt in the ACU game, and it's a soft tissue injury, so it's all going to be about how that thing comes back. I don't have an update today. We'll see. I don't anticipate him practicing today. We'll see what tomorrow brings. But no, not really. Not anything definitive.
Eli, whether it relates to Young or not, but how close is Tavares Jones to helping out get on the field?
Yeah. We really had anticipation to play him in the game versus Auburn, and just didn't get it done. So I say he's really close. Just needs another good week of practice, and just be ready when his number's called. But he's close.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks.
Thank you all. That was relatively tame.